I get in the backseat of this man's car and he goes, "Are you going to school?" Hello, good morning.
We ball.
No, now you say your part.
Yeah, we ball. Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And f it, we ball.
And f it, we ball is what we're feeling this morning.
God, I'm gonna have to add so many bleeps to the YouTube version of this now.
Oh yeah, because we said it in the first few seconds. Just do a really long intro clip. Like a really long intro clip.
Like a 2.5 minute long intro
YouTube
clip.
doesn't like when you say f in the first good 20 seconds of a video.
It's a completely different thing. They ask you like, hey, can we put ads on this? And one of the things that they ask you is, did you cuss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you cuss early?
Yeah.
Did you say a f?
Yeah. Yeah, we did all of it.
No money for you.
Anthony, it's a new week.
Saige. It is. It's a whole new world, really.
My car broke down.
Yeah. A whole new world.
It only gets worse.
It's only better and better. Every week is a brand new chance for something to go wrong.
Guys, my car broke down over the weekend.
First of all, congrats.
In a very fun and exciting way. I was moving downhill and I moved from being in reverse. Oh,
That's
I
okay.
moved from being in reverse to being in drive, supposedly, and it got stuck in neutral along the way. On a hill, on a downhill. Oof. Fortunately, it was a sloped driveway and not a main road. But the sloped driveway then did lead into a main road.
Did you somehow get out of the car and then chase it down the hill goofy style, just like yahoo?
Yeah, hands waggling and waving in the air. Yeah. So that was unfun, and it would appear it's because there was some sort of secret recall on a part on my car.
Oh.
Probably.
We love the secret recalls. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, not the kind they're going to contact you about because I have a used car.
Right.
And also, who knows, if it's been too long for me to do anything about it.
Right. That's another cool thing.
Yeah.
About the secret recalls.
Right. My car is a 2012.
Oh, and yeah, the recall might be over.
Well, the recall came late.
Oh, okay.
The recall did not happen in 2012.
How wild, how many people, it's just a little thing. That's the thing about manufacturers is whenever things like this happen, they have to make it seem like as little a thing as possible.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just sometimes the cars go into neutral and don't get, it's just a little thing.
So
sometimes the cars just go out of control and don't stop.
What's crazy is my car looks like it's in park and is in neutral too. So each time I have someone look at it, they go, "No, it's in park." And I go, "No, it's in neutral." And they go, "No, it's in park." And I go, "Start the car, remove the emergency brake I've put on. It is in neutral." And when you start the car, the little N next to neutral lights up, but the shifter itself is in park. Anyways, none of this matters.
No, but
it all sucks. And everyone keeps arguing with me.
It sounds like a who's on first situation.
Continues arguing with me about it, and that's fine. But because of it, I had to Uber to the studio this morning.
Yeah.
And everyone knows I have nothing but wild experiences in Ubers. So this morning, not so bad. Not bad at all, I'd say, actually.
Right.
But I had no makeup on because I was getting my makeup. I was doing my makeup at the studio, and I had my backpack. And I get in the backseat of this man's car, and he goes, "Are you going to school?" He wasn't creepy. He wasn't weird about it. He just fully thought I was a child.
I love that.
Completely innocent question on this old man's part.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Oh, I'm taking this kid to school today."
Do you remember your lunch, little girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm going to work." And he was like, "Oh."
Oh, big girl starting a new job today, huh? Big girl going out to work.
You babysitting?
Yeah. Are you selling cookies? Are you selling cookies for charity?
And when I said work, he definitely was like, "Oh shit." Oops, I fucked up. My bad. And he's like, "Oh, I've been taking a lot of people to students and stuff to school or college."
Skywalker
this morning.
Skywalker says, working, taking you to work in the mine shaft.
Yeah.
The children just yearning.
Yeah. He had a strong feeling that I yearned for the mines.
Yeah. That's so funny.
That's how I started my day. But did you remember your lunch? Shit.
Saige doesn't remember to eat ever.
You know what's so funny? When I started my Adderall, everybody told me that it was going to be like, hey, you won't know when you're hungry.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm taking it and I'm totally fine. I can totally tell when I'm hungry. It just took like a month to activate. Now, like a month in, never know I'm hungry.
No.
Never once known a hunger cue.
That's the fun thing is new and exciting stuff happens on Adderall for like the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, this changes. Because like it changes an immediate part of your brain chemistry.
Yeah.
But then the rest of it, like as that normalizes over time,
Yeah.
other sympathetic parts of your brain chemistry go, oh, can we calm down too?
Yeah.
How much can we calm down?
All of it. All the way.
Like entirely?
All the way.
Like maybe we don't need to eat anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just chill out enough that we don't have to eat and we can simply photosynthesize energy.
If not in fight or flight, no needs.
No needs.
No needs.
How do I know when I'm feeling anything if it isn't terror or adrenaline?
Right. Look, I've always dreamed of being the kind of person who needs nothing from anyone. And I'm doing it, baby. I'm living it.
Well, this is a cool thing for you because you also have a tendency to just, if you don't eat, just
Die.
Lose consciousness.
Yeah, I straight up die.
Yeah, you will straight up die.
No, everyone, if they don't eat, dies. I just die faster.
Yeah, and it's once again, Saige, it's not a competition.
I have hypoglycemia for context for those in the live studio audience. So it's a blood sugar issue where if I don't eat regularly, scheduled, don't listen very closely to my body.
Yeah.
I'll just go to sleep.
But now body say
Standing up.
But now body say nothing.
Yeah.
Listen closely, body say.
Yeah. So generally the phases are you feel hungry, and if you ignore the fact that you felt hungry, then your blood sugar drops and you can feel that your blood sugar is low. I'm missing the one in the middle.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, why am I dizzy?
You only get like the red alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've told you before, this is why I snack all the time. If there's food out, I just eat it because I never know when I'm hungry. And I will just go a day or two without eating and be like, I'm tired.
What's wrong?
I don't feel good. Everything make me mad.
Anthony never knows why he doesn't feel good.
Never. Well, that's the fun thing about having chronic illnesses and other things. Like anything could be making me feel bad at any time.
Right. But it's also like Anthony ate so much ice cream for dinner. And then Anthony's like, why don't I feel good?
Body needed calorie.
Why does my tummy hurt?
Gave body calorie. Don't laugh at me, Alex. Alex, how are you doing this morning?
Hi, Alex.
Good morning. I'm doing great. I'm laughing not at you, but at myself because recently I ate too many of those Jolly Rancher chewy candies and then sat back on the couch and went, I feel terrible and my mouth hurts.
Why is God doing this to me?
Why
I'm a good
would you
boy.
punish me like this?
I've never done anything wrong.
I've never done anything wrong in my entire life.
I'll do it. That's the other reason why I don't keep junk food in the house either.
Yeah.
Because my ADHD also tells me eat food from easiest to hardest.
Yes, always. Always easiest to hardest. I've never put that, I've never had that contextualized.
No, eat
Never
food
put it in words. Easiest to hardest every single time.
easiest to
Oh
hardest.
my God.
Because it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm just a little junk goblin that likes to eat junk food.
No, easiest to hardest.
Yeah, if I'm sitting at the computer doing important things like hyper fixating on Wikipedia articles about, I don't know, like 90s PC CD-ROM games.
Yeah, the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Yeah, like very important shit, and I get interrupted by hunger. Well, I got to get back to my work, my very important work.
As fast as possible.
Yeah, so I don't have time
Yeah.
to make the real food that I buy. I have to go from easiest to hardest.
Wow.
Junk food goes first, then cereal.
Yeah.
Then like sandwiches, because
Yeah.
sandwiches are easy to make. Then like anything that's like microwavable or like, like it just goes easiest to hardest. And then I cook. And every time I cook, I go, man, I'm a pretty good cook and I really enjoy this.
And it didn't take me that long.
And I wasn't doing anything important.
Yep. But you have to get there first.
You got to get there.
You have to catch me first.
Yeah, sorry.
Listen, kitchen, you're going to have to catch me first.
Yeah, look, listen, I will willingly go into custody
Yeah.
once you catch me.
Yeah.
But you got to catch me.
I don't even make sandwiches. I eat lunch meat out of the bag.
I used to do that too. I used to call it deconstructed lunch.
Yeah.
And my ex used to hate it. I would be like, yeah, I'm just having a deconstructed sandwich for lunch. And she's like, stop it. And I'd just be like, little bit of turkey, little bit of cheese, slice of bread.
Yeah.
Goodbye. That's what's the difference?
Hey.
What's the difference?
I want you to know, turkey out of a bag, girl lunch.
Turkey in a bag. Ha ha ha.
Now, we have huge news to get to.
Huge news.
I also want to give an update on something we talked about on Friday. That's like an unexpected update. So do you want to do huge news first, or you want your little update first?
Well, now I'm all in suspense about the unexpected update. They've read the title. They know what the huge news is.
Yeah, you know what the huge news is. We're going to talk about it and we're going to celebrate it, but you know. Randomly, in the most, not even like, it wasn't a story on Friday.
It wasn't a story.
Onision came up, the scum of the internet.
Yes.
Onision. And as always, TikTok was listening to our conversation. And over the weekend, I got a TikTok of somebody talking about him. He's pretending to be dead.
Oh, that's a new development.
Yeah. He is currently, as we speak, pretending that he died. He didn't die.
He didn't die.
He decidedly did not die. And he keeps doing things like writing things in the third person and like updating his like YouTube bios to write little like memorials for himself. So his Twitter right now just says Onision and then RIP and then has the like the yellow ribbon, which is both for like veterans and suicide.
And the old oak tree.
And the old oak tree. Yeah. So it just says RIP, and then it says Onision was framed and socially executed by a fraudulent smear campaign.
Oh my God, this guy. So I have not kept up with Onion Greg in a little while.
Yeah.
I know that the Onion Greg was there were many lawsuits after a documentary for all of the child briding and things that he did.
Yeah.
This is now that everybody knows him for this stuff. This is him saying, "You've killed Onision because with your lies about my child briding."
Yeah, I don't think it's like metaphorical. I think he's really trying to convince people that he had taken his life.
Oh,
which is not the first time actually. Apparently, that Onision has played dead. According to the internet, he has pretended to die before.
I hate that we're even talking about this because this is what the Onion wants.
I know, and I do get it. It's just what are the odds that he came up for the first time in relevance in ever on this show, and it happened to be while he was pretending to be dead.
Whoa. But sort of the court of public opinion killed him, which means maybe it was us on Friday.
Good.
Maybe we killed the Onion Greg.
Good. I stand by it.
Yeah. Piss off, the Onion Greg.
Yeah.
Let's move on to big news.
I wanted to give you that update. So odd.
Everything about. Listen.
Let's celebrate.
Let's celebrate a bigger, cooler thing.
Now, we are doing tentative celebration,
yes.
But the WGA and the AMPTP have reached a tentative agreement. So what that means right now is that through the negotiations, they came to a deal, but the lawyers of the WGA still have to finalize, draw up all the contracts, and prepare that.
Yep.
And then the members of the WGA all have to vote to proceed, but they have found a deal favorable to the terms they were asking for.
This is great. Now, there have been times when a union negotiator goes in, comes out and says, we've got a favorable contract, and then the members of the union go, no, we don't. Like, that happens.
It can happen.
It can happen. We're not saying it's going to happen now, but what we are saying is there are a few steps before this is done. But if this does
seem like that's going to be the case.
It feels like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right up to the wire there, the AMPTP was doing their same posturing.
Oh, yeah.
They put in an offer on Friday, and they called it their final offer.
Yes, they did.
And said, I think we talked about it. They said, this is our final offer.
And if you don't take it,
we probably just aren't coming back to work for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
To which everybody went, you fucking clowns with your clown shoes.
Yeah.
Your big floppy
And they were
clown
like,
shoes.
okay, that was the last one. That was the last trick up the sleeve. All right, we'll make a deal.
Because, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, we probably just won't come back. Yeah, because you're losing less money than the writers.
Right.
Right. Okay. So then on Saturday, there was another meeting. And then on Sunday, there was another meeting. Yesterday, there was another meeting. So, last offer, huh?
Yeah. It was like 7 o'clock last night when it finally came through that a tentative agreement was reached. We have a lot of friends who are involved, or strike captains, are very actively involved in their union.
Yes.
That all seem incredibly excited about it. And
Dude, LA last night, I had a friend who was at a bar close by that we all know, and that bar was,
I bet,
every writer.
Raging.
Every writer was out. They were all celebrating last night. It's been 150 days that they've been out of work.
Yeah.
150 days that they've been out of work.
Absolutely wild.
And like, even if you're getting underpaid, you're not getting underpaid so much that 150 days is nothing.
No.
Like half a year out of work almost.
Yeah.
So this is a huge, huge deal. Now remember, this means that the writers get to go back to work, which is a huge deal and is going to be such a relief on so many people. But
the SAG strike continues.
That's right. The actors are still on strike.
Yeah. So we're not out of the woods yet. I'm not sure when the next, Alex, can you look up if there's any information on when the next negotiation is for the SAG contracts, for the actors contracts? Because I get voicemails twice a week from Fran Drescher.
As a child, that would have been your dream.
Yeah, right? And then she did all the weird stuff. Though I will say, she has been great through this strike.
She's been good through this.
She has been a good leader for SAG through this strike, which has been really lovely to see, considering obviously she was not a great leader through the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we get pre-recorded voicemails from Fran Drescher like twice a week because I'm in the SAG after union, updating, but also now it's about the video game voice actor strike.
Which is hitting a whole other segment of our friends and people that we work with.
Which has not started, to be clear, but it is now being put to a vote for union members.
And it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Needs to happen.
Right.
Just as much as these other, if not more, this video game thing needs to happen. It needs to happen in the same way that the Marvel VFX, that little mini strike that they had to unionize, needed to happen. It's one of the most, video games are one of the most poorly treated industries in terms of employees. And
horrible.
Just absolutely awful. So
I'm sorry, I laughed in the middle of that at something really funny in the chat and it was ill-timed.
That's okay. So this,
You're like the most horribly treated, and I was like,
yeah, boy, they should treat them bad.
Yeah.
But it's really bad, and it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Even though, like, once again, most people have already been out of work half a year.
Right.
But we're seeing this everywhere. We talked about the hotel strikes. We talked about the auto workers unions.
Yeah.
We've talked about all of this stuff that's happening. We are getting closer and closer to just a general labor strike than this country has ever been in. And people are figuring it out.
They are.
People are figuring it out. And this might be the first time in history that people are looking at a Hollywood strike and going, well, I work harder than them, so they should go back to work. No, this is the first time people are going, I work harder than them. I probably deserve more too.
I should also strike. Yeah, do it, baby.
Living memory is a bitch, man.
Yeah, right?
Living memory is, because like, man, I talked to my mother and she's like, when I was a kid, it was like unions. When you worked, you were in a union. It was a big thing. Like in the 60s and 70s, huge thing.
Absolutely.
And then fucking Reagan, man. Fucking Reagan.
Reaganomics, baby.
Ooh, it's trickling down. It'll hit us any day now.
I want to answer some questions.
Fuck a coaster. I'm too hardcore.
It rolled all the way over to me.
That's right.
Please use a coaster.
Coasters Union. They are. Coasters Union on strike.
Okay, so a couple of things from the live studio audience. Jelly PB said, I'm taking over ITE as both hosts. It's my final and best offer. I have all of the power in this situation, right? Yeah, that's all we can do.
They do have the leverage.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all we can do. Jelly is the new host. Skywalker had asked the SAG strike started after the WGA strike? Yes. There were also people asking like, well, what happens now? Do the writers continue like picketing with SAG and stuff like that? That comes down to individual writers. Obviously, the unions have stood strong together and they will continue to see support from the WGA on their strike and reaching their deal. But it also usually, one reaching a deal can be very beneficial for the next negotiation.
All union members have a rule. You don't cross a picket line.
Yes.
So if these writers go back to work at studios in physical writers' rooms, they won't cross the line.
Yeah.
But I think there is just a general understanding that if the writers are going back to work now and SAG can go into negotiations, it's okay if the writers start working again.
Yeah.
Just so when SAG starts working again, everybody can actually go back to work.
There's tons of work that writers do that don't involve actors yet earlier in the process. I'd like to check in with Alex. Alex, was there any information on...
So currently no update on when negotiations are going to resume, but there is a statement from SAG-AFTRA saying we look forward to reviewing the terms of the WGA and AMPTP's tentative agreement and remain ready to resume our own negotiations with the AMPTP as soon as they are prepared to engage on our proposals in a meaningful way.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And the AMPTP, you might think that they'll be like, well, gosh, the writers got us, so I guess we better just make an agreement with the actors. No, they're going to be mad.
Yep.
They're going to be real mad.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to double down and not give the actors what they want.
I do think there is a good possibility, though, that it's like if we've come this far and we have made this agreement and we still can't get back to having fucking movies, I do think there is leverage there for SAG that's really,
100%.
really important that is going to affect the AMPTP's decision.
Yeah, but they're going to pretend.
Yeah.
They're going to pretend like there isn't.
Oh, 100%.
They're going to double down.
In a statement from the WGA, which with all of this information, we recommend looking directly to the WGA. There was a lot of misinformation as the negotiations were happening. The WGA put out saying, we have reached a tentative agreement on the new 2023 MBA, which is to say an agreement in principle on all deal points, subject to drafting final contract language.
Great.
What we have won with this contract, most particular, everything that we have gained since May 2nd is due to the willingness of this membership to exercise its power, to demonstrate its solidarity, to walk side by side, to endure the pain and uncertainty of the past 146 days. Whoo!
Wow.
It is a great statement. I highly recommend the full read. That is available at WGAcontract2023.org with official WGA updates there. And I look forward to seeing this get locked in.
Yeah. Let's end this.
I love to see our friends getting to be out celebrating it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so wonderful. We're so happy as both people in the industry, as friends of writers, as supporters of unions, all around. It's a pretty good day.
It's a really good day. And if you can, I'm sure you all can imagine being out of work. Either you can imagine or you've been through it, being out of work for 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people obviously have experienced that for various reasons.
Yeah.
But this is a necessary one that, well, it wasn't necessary for the strike to go on this long. The AMPTP definitely should have agreed sooner, but fuck yeah, union strong, making it better too, so that, people aren't also struggling while working.
Yeah. And we've been very good. We don't cover struck work here. We support unions. We would never cover struck work.
Yeah, and we are, of course, in a category where talking about movie and TV under journalism was within union regulation.
Yeah, but we try not to because, hey, there's other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And we support the unions. Now, however, across the pond, pip, pip, cheerio, Bob's your uncle, as they say.
Yep.
The British Broadcasting Corporation does not use SAG.
Nope.
They have a completely different union.
Which is not on strike.
And because of that, we can watch this. I think, Alex, the better laptop to bring it up on will be Saige's.
Okay.
This is the trailer for the 60th anniversary Doctor Who special, The Return of 10 and Donna Noble.
I love you, David Tennant, so much. I love you, Donna Noble, so much. We are going to play this with audio, I think, right?
Yes.
And this is just going to be the thing that gets a portion of this video demonetized. So support us at Patreon. Patreon.com/Pixel Circus.
Do it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Pre-trailer before the trailer.
Yep.
Gotta do it.
Like I had something lovely, and it's gone. While I'm in bed thinking, what have I lost?
An oldest friend called Donna Noble. I had to wipe her memory to save her life. If she remembers me, she will die. So what happens next? The spaceship crashes right in front of her. It's like she's drawing us in.
Wait, what?
What the hell? We've got a bloody Martian in the shade!
Real special effects budgets are back on Doctor Who?
It looks good.
That creature looks good.
Like, it's shot different.
They know.
Then it is heading for Donna Noble.
They know how much this is worth.
And I've got a memory. After a very long time, something's coming back.
Who are they? Monsters. There's something so bad the TARDIS ran away.
Yes.
We go and kick its ass!
Yes,
God, this is gonna be so good. It's giving feature film.
it really is.
Like, this is shot like a feature
What do we
fucking
do this
film.
Look,
time,
you
Doctor?
could
How
say
do we
what you
fight the
want
human
about the
race?
Chris Chibnall run of Doctor Who, but one thing he did
Entered this world.
was he brought cinematography to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The Chibnall run looked beautiful no matter what you thought of the story. It's great to see Kate Lethbridge Stewart.
Your fight is with me!
I want 100 of these.
I don't know if I can save your life this time. Worldwide premiere.
So rad. And there he is! There he is!
Ah, this was a perfect trailer.
No
Oh my
notes.
God, it's a perfect trailer.
Absolutely zero
Can you
notes.
believe they made a perfect trailer?
Whew.
God, that's good.
My
God,
hair,
that's good.
Look at my hair
Same.
standing on end.
Yeah.
Look at my hair standing on end.
I miss being a Doctor Who fan. God, it feels good to be a Doctor Who fan. And honestly, they've lost me for a little while. I've been in the like, oh, neat, you know, whatever. But that feeling, and I'm so excited for this new run. I'm obviously so excited for Tenet to be back on the way.
Yep.
But like, it's not just like, oh, I'm back because Tenet's back. Like, this new run looks like they are setting it up to be so fucking good.
I think, you know, this was something for BBC America for a few years. The BBC had Doctor Who and Sherlock, and they were the biggest things in the world.
Yeah.
And they kind of, you know, Sherlock came to an end naturally, but I think they feel like they fumbled something.
Yeah.
You know, like the Matt Smith stuff did really well.
Yep.
And then they kind of just like never were able to grab that again.
They lost a lot of us at Capaldi. And I know Capaldi is also a beloved doctor for a lot of people, but loving Capaldi took a lot of patience. And when you were coming from these very like charismatic doctors, it was a very hard adjustment that lost a lot of people along the way. And if it's like, oh, but you know, if you just get through 2 seasons of Capaldi, then you'll love him. That's a hard sell.
That's a hard sell.
That's a hard sell.
And I mean, I know that people will tell you it's not a hard sell because obviously we're talking about a show that's 60 years old. If you got to watch a couple seasons, you watch a couple seasons. But like, I don't know.
It was a hard sell for me. They lost me on
know.
it as somebody who was like,
I did not watch the full Capaldi run.
I didn't either.
I did not. I also, you know, I didn't watch all of the last run either.
I didn't watch all of Jodie either.
I loved her.
I tuned in for bits and pieces of Jodie.
I loved everybody. I loved her entire supporting cast.
Yeah.
And I love the look of the show. I love that they were really taking it more seriously as like a visual piece of media again.
Yeah.
But I think their
The writing was
stories. Yeah, I think their stories. They were trying so hard to make up for what they thought were the perceived weaknesses of the show that they went a little too hard in the paint on some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But I did like that they were trying to bring the stories smaller again.
Yes.
Because by the time we got to the end of that Capaldi run, it was just like, how many times can we just have like the entire universe shooting at each other and things are exploding and everything's, and it's just like, you got to bring it down because we got to get back to where it's about characters.
And it doesn't always have to be the Daleks or Cybermen either.
No. It doesn't always.
It doesn't always have to be.
Doesn't always.
Like, that's just my other little note, is it doesn't always have to be.
Yeah. And I also, like, as far as the Capaldi stuff went, I love the idea of the Doctor having a midlife crisis at 1,000 years old. Like, that's fun.
Sure.
But I don't think they didn't nail it.
No.
You know?
Alex is talking in the chat and said, I really did love the transition to Capaldi to try and pull back the romantic appeal of the Doctor. However, I love a clever old man, and he did have a great cast chemistry. Now, I also enjoy when the Doctor is non-romantic. I'm a big fan of that because, like, Tennant and Rose, my only real ship for the Doctor.
Absolutely.
The only romance that I was ever like, this is so real and true and honest, and it's not just somebody who is infatuated and like it was so beautifully done.
Until Eccleston, until the Doctor, until Nine and Rose.
Yeah.
All of the companions were very much like, you're like a son or daughter to me, or you're like a buddy to me.
Yeah.
Even when it was like a cave woman in a bikini, it was
Right.
like, you're my pal.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like the Doctor had like very like ace energy for a long time.
And look, each Doctor is different. So it's just Tennant fucks.
Listen, that's what Tennant does.
I mean,
David Tennant fucks. He fucks and he acts. And he's all out of bubble gum. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
now,
and David Tennant is the love of my life. So I get it. I understand. And then I was really never into anybody else who was like romantically interested in the Doctor and the way that people pursued him. And I think that they still handled it well of him being like, oh, no, okay, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But right at the end of Matt Smith and Clara, I was like, can I learn to love again? Me, the Doctor? Me, Clara? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
This is by Panic. And I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. Because I was always like, nobody else come near him. That is Rose's fucking man. How dare you?
How dare you?
And right at the end, I was like, I think
that
I'm ready to love
good boy belongs
again.
to a bad wolf.
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes.
And I was like, I think I'm ready to love again. And then they were like, JK, he old. Now this would be weird. Don't do that. And they didn't. And I'm so glad they didn't.
Sarah in the live studio audience also said Moffat's better at sprints than marathons, which I think is true.
I agree.
Under Davies, Moffat wrote some amazing episodes.
Yeah.
Brilliant episodes. But when it was time for him to do multi-season arcs, you could see what he was good at.
Yeah.
You could see that he was the guy that was good at writing those big monologues about big ideas that Tennant was so good at delivering.
Yeah.
And Matt Smith. I think Matt Smith gets the short end of the stick because he was right after David Tennant.
It's very hard to follow David Tennant, but I do think Matt Smith was a very good doctor. He's not my doctor, but he's a great doctor.
And he was also great at those sort of like scene chewing monologues about like, hey, love and humanity, and I'm the doctor. And like, the problem is every episode became those.
Yeah.
With no, okay, like we finish it by monologuing about love every time. I'm not even sure why we're invested or what the bad guy's doing here.
I always say that the first three doctors of the reboot of Doctor Who are very Goldilocks for me.
Yeah.
I love Eccleston, but Eccleston a little too serious.
Yeah.
I love Matt Smith, but Matt Smith a little too silly.
Yeah.
David Tennant, just right.
Eccleston was weird because he was a very serious guy in the middle of some of the goofiest stories that Doctor Who ever told.
I love that season.
Like there are some
adore it.
Like Are You My Mommy is like good horror.
Yeah.
But like the Last Human, the very first episode where the trash cans eat Mickey.
Yeah.
Like this is a silly fucking show.
Eat Mickey.
The
Mickey
trash
should be
can
eaten.
ate Mickey, and Mickey came out looking like a Max Headroom commercial from the 80s. Like, there was some silly ass stuff there.
Absolutely.
you
And he
could
was
see
taking it very seriously.
And you could see why because Eccleston was promised it was going to be more serious.
Yeah, and then it was not for him.
And then he read that fucking pilot episode, and I would have been like, if I had been him, I would have been like, are you fucking for real? You told me this was going to be more serious, and then a trash can eats somebody? Come on.
Yeah, but like
Russell, you promised,
I know,
bud.
but look at the jacket we got for you.
Oh, it's a good jacket.
Oh, tough guy.
Oh, I'm a tough guy in a good jacket.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, BBC, if you're doing any big 60th anniversary special stuff, I'm willing to come back as host again. Give me a call. Give me a call.
You should. In order for me, David Tennant, Eccleston, Matt Smith.
If we're just talking new docs.
Yeah, we're just talking new docs.
New docs.
I mean, you can also just talk about your favorite docs. I actually haven't watched the originals, if I'm honest.
That's okay. You know, it's 50 years of a low budget sci-fi show for children.
Yep.
It's cool. I grew up watching it with my dad, which is why I like it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
I have no nostalgia for it.
My favorites would be Tennant, then probably Davison.
Okay.
I was a big Five guy.
Okay.
And then probably, I'd say probably Jodie. I think Jodie was a great doctor that was given material that was beneath her.
Okay.
But her performances were so good. She had a lot of that thing that Tennant had, where it was like, that Tennant had and that 4 had as well, where it's like, the doctor travels because the doctor's curious, and the doctor finds everything and everyone fascinating and wonderful.
Yeah.
And those are like, not every doctor has to have those qualities.
No, but it's cool when they do.
But it's
But
those
I'm
are
gonna
my
love it
favorites.
when they do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna love it when they do. Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why when I like with Tennant's run, when I think about like Smith and Jones, or I think about the Doctor and Donna, I just really think about like, here's this guy who finds everything absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Who's traveling with Donna Noble, who is just so dumb and mean in the beginning and self-centered that she doesn't want to see any of it. She doesn't think it's cool. And he's like, look at all the wonders of the universe. And she's like, this sucks. Where's the toilet?
Do you know why we love Donna?
Because she rules.
A million reasons. She's wonderful. One, she does remind me of all of the Jewish women in my family.
Yes.
We love to complain.
Yeah.
We love to complain.
We're going to a resort world filled with magical cat nuns who are going to take care of our everything.
And my feet hurt and I'm tired of walking.
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
I don't feel like it.
I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to that, I think that like, I don't know, man. I think it's very, very interesting of that arc, but it reminded me, your character in Total Puppet Chaos, Karen. The god of petty grievances.
Yes.
That's Donna Noble.
Very Donna Noble inspired.
Donna Noble is the god of petty grievances.
Because I also wanted Karen to just like open up more towards the end. And And you just saw like, oh, but she cares. And she's smarter than she lets on. Yeah. And like, and I love Donna for that. Now, one thing I will say about this trailer, we do know that obviously the Doctor and Donna can't stay away from each other this whole time. And like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, we see it in the trailer.
But that's what I'm saying is like, we know that. Seeing it in the trailer, I understand we have to show it because it's a foregone conclusion. But also I'm just like, I want a little bit more suspense about it.
Really?
I just want a little bit because he's going to have to like avoid her a lot in this. And I want to see more of that. But I understand that they probably within 20 minutes or 30 minutes start hanging out.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
But also you're waiting for that moment. You're like, ooh, when do they get together? When are they gonna, I know it's gonna happen. I know at some point.
And how do they figure out a way around her memory coming back and her instantly like whatever?
Right. I mean, there's the debate that like the problem changes. It changes from, I cannot tell Donna because it will kill her, to Donna knows I cannot save her.
Right. And how long does she have? Like, I think that's cool. It's going to be great. Did you ever wind up watching Good Omens 2?
No, I haven't watched 2 yet.
I've watched a few episodes and it's good. And Saige?
I can't wait.
Saige?
I can't believe I haven't gotten to it yet.
It's so gay this time.
Yes.
So gay.
It's
I
so
love
gay
it.
this time. It's legitimately so gay this time. And
God, I gotta watch that.
They're so
Keep slipping off my list.
They are
Keep
so
forgetting.
good together. Did you ever watch that show that they did about like just being actors and kind of playing themselves?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Clips of it come up on TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
And their chemistry together, the two of them, are just
Incredible.
They're so
Phenomenal.
funny. And they really do come off as like together as friends and in interviews.
Yeah.
They come off like an old married couple.
Right.
Which is why I think it works so well in Good Omens.
Yeah.
They're just amazing.
Anyways, every time we talk about Doctor Who, we talk about Doctor Who for so long.
Yeah, that's
We
okay.
love this show. We love this show.
Hey, let's do some gaming news.
Let's do some gaming news. Where does one start with gaming news? I mean, let's talk about the thing that everybody wants to talk about.
What's that?
The Cyberpunk DLC.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, Phantom Liberty has been getting absolutely rave reviews. This is the new DLC, of course, for Cyberpunk 2077, the new paid DLC.
Right. So there were two things that happened with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
One was the 2.0 update with fixes to the engine and technical fixes, things like that.
Makes Keanu look more like Keanu.
Yeah. It's got Keanu vision. It uses the NVIDIA Keanu engine,
Yeah.
Keanu cores. And so you can render up to 50 million Keanus a second. It's amazing. But also the Phantom Liberty was released, which is the Idris Elba DLC.
I do love Idris Elba.
We love Idris Elba. And this DLC is getting insane reviews. Rock Paper Shotgun called it the best expansion pack that's ever existed.
Wow. That's a big compliment.
And Rock Paper Shotgun is not prone to hyperbole. Rock Paper Shotgun, I like to check for their British outlook on everything, which is meh.
Yeah.
Which is like, and when they really love something, they go,
Pretty
yeah,
good.
fair.
All right. Pretty good.
But everybody is absolutely loving this. The Open Critic aggregate score is a 90 average with 98% recommended. Everybody is saying that this thing is at least 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 all around. It's getting a lot of like 9s and 10s. It's crushing. It's crushing everywhere.
I have to agree with Blade of Creation in the chat. So the story of the Phantom Liberty is you are a like government secret agent now that has to save the president. And I do have to agree with Blade of Creation in the live studio audience. That's not punk. And we have to stop putting the word punk on things like being a government secret agent.
Well, I'm going to say that we don't know how it plays out. And if you are being conscripted into being a government agent, I think what they wanted to...
That's not what they are describing in the like synopsis of the game.
I think what they're basing it on is Escape from New York, right?
I'm
They
team
want it to be-
Cyberpunk was never punk. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the Cyberpunk game is not punk. There's nothing punk
Punk is
about
an
it.
ideal, not an aesthetic.
They just have the rights to a name.
Yep.
But if this DLC goes in a way where like, okay, you got to go in and save the president, fine, I'll do this thing because I have to, or fine, I'll do it. And then you immediately zag, or you're given the opportunity to zag,
Right.
like you should.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. But you're right. The whole like, are you a bad enough dude to save the president is not.
I read through the synopsis of
Yeah.
it, and that does appear to be.
Well, we know that Idris Elba is definitely like your agent guy on the inside. So
Yeah.
Idris Elba is pro government.
Yeah, and so are you in Cyberpunk. That's punk, babies. What an interesting way to put that back on the coaster.
It's doing a lot
You
of-
picked up the coaster and brought it to the beverage.
It's doing a lot of sticking and unsticking, and so I'm
okay.
just sort of figuring out what to do
Yeah,
with
we're
it.
just figuring it out.
But here's what the least punk thing about this DLC is, Saige. It's $30. The least punk thing about this is you have to pay. This makes Cyberpunk, to me, this makes the bad game $90 to turn it into a good game.
That's correct.
This makes a $60 game $90 to turn it into a good game.
Now, a lot of people are of the opinion that Cyberpunk is now a good game as the base game. I am not somebody of that opinion. I think it's improved upon, but it isn't like, it isn't the thing I wanted Cyberpunk to
No.
be still. It has still not become that.
Look,
so,
and not everything can be Baldur's Gate 3.
Sure.
In terms of your decisions and the things you can do and the depth of story. But there was no depth that I wanted out of Cyberpunk in Cyberpunk at all. There were only like vestigial glimpses at the things that you could tell they wanted to do. They were so into tracing their rays that the story missions and the choices that you had
Right.
were so ridiculously simplistic and limited that it just wasn't what I wanted out of a Cyberpunk game.
I agree. It did not achieve what I was hoping for from it. And I was very excited. We were very much team ready for Cyberpunk into Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Now, if you've fixed it and you've turned it into what is essentially a very good functioning open world game with some choices and a skill tree, Mazel tov.
Is that worth $90? Is that worth $90?
Is that worth, because it is going to be another $30 to play this good campaign.
Right.
Which I don't want to pay. Like it's a bummer. It was a bummer of a game when I played it.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, if you give us $30, we'll fix it.
Right.
And that feels like, I'm not going to say extortion because that's such hyperbole.
Yeah.
But, you know.
A little intense for it.
But it's not what I want to do. Like, they certainly didn't No Man's Sky this thing where first of all, No Man's Sky released being exactly what I think they promised for the most part.
Yeah.
But they were like, we understand it's not what you wanted.
Yeah.
So we're
going to make it that.
So let's fix it. And over the last million years, all they've done is add new free content to No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And they've seen the results of that in continued new sales of No Man's Sky. It's been a steady income earner for them.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen CD Projekt Red do something similar where it's like, hey, here's what we're doing. We're going to release a new content pack. We've updated the engine. A lot of things are fixed. Come play this first one for free.
Right.
And then, like, if you like it, we're going to update it with more things down the line.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to pay that Idris Elba money back. That ain't cheap.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but like...
You didn't have to have Idris Elba for this.
Yeah, that's true.
The DLC did not require. I love Idris Elba. Happy Idris Elba's there. But if it is a matter of like we're trying to make this up to you, I don't think it was Idris Elba that's making it up to players and making it like the best DLC.
Getting
of all
Idris
time.
Elba as like an apology present is nice. Hey, listen, if I did something wrong and I was like, I'm sorry, Saige, here's Idris Elba.
Yeah, that would work great.
You know what I mean?
But if you made me pay for it,
Yeah.
back out. It's not a
true.
present. It's not
That's
a present
true.
if I paid for it. Alex also pointed out the creators do suck in a transphobic way, so there's that. Yeah. And I mean, that was one of the things too, like in addition to them and their personal fucked up like comments, one of the things that they promised is that in a cyberpunk future, there would be exploration of gender and freedom of gender. And there was like this entire idea when they were promoting the game that they utilized the idea of trans inclusiveness and of gender inclusiveness. And then it was just like, teehee, you can put a penis.
Well, you misunderstand. The penis goes outside your pants. So everybody knows.
Yeah.
And that way, if penis outside of pants, people can be like, whoa, gender.
It's gender. Like it was a
Do you
real
not,
bummer.
I'm sorry,
And
do you
there
not
was, like,
understand what they did?
Yeah,
Do you
and
not
there was like
understand
those
like
weird
what they did as
billboards
allies
that
for the
existed.
community?
I'm gonna I need you to shut up. I need you to shut up. They put those weird like billboards in game that also ended up just being like weird and came across where they were like, look, in the cyberpunk future, isn't gender so weird? And we were like, yeah, that's just transphobic actually.
Yeah. And there's nothing in cyberpunk stuff, in cyberpunk media, cyberpunk as a genre.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talk about like, what is sexuality in the future? And a lot of it, because it's based on noir and it's based on, kind of like shock value and subversion of the ethics of the time, there's always been a lot of like sex work, sex robots, all these different things like that you can do with sex and gender and morality. But when you distill that down and all it is like a funny billboard.
Yep.
Like, you're not really doing a lot of world building there.
And when your only trans representation comes in the form of sex workers, you haven't done the thing.
Yeah. Now, this also, CD Projekt Red also came under fire for a lot of their labor practices, the way they treated their employees.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about the bonus tokens. That's not just a joke. That's real.
Yeah.
Their bonus didn't come in money. It came in tokens.
Which like, we talked about the system a while ago.
Spend at the old company store. What's wrong with a company store? Historically, there's been nothing wrong with a company store.
Nothing.
But anyway, like there's been a lot of leadership change since then. They've made a lot of press. They've made a lot of PR statements and apparently tried to make a lot of changes. We don't know. We're not internal. We don't see it.
Yep.
But one thing that we can say is the Cyberpunk 2077 devs are very happy about the Phantom Liberty praise. They say that we really needed to redeem ourselves. He's one of the cinematic designer said the amount of work that was put into it results in what I think is one of the most robust and content-rich expansions, and we really needed to redeem ourselves. Studio bosses, confessed after release that they ignored signals about the need for additional time to refine the game. Investors actually, if you remember, sued the company.
Yeah.
People who own stock and their actual investors sued them because they were like, you lied about what this game was.
Yeah.
You lied, and now we're like, everything's going all wonky. But they are saying like, hey, we're glad that everybody loves it. We feel relieved. We feel like we're finally giving you the product that we were supposed to give you. And listen, I'm at an employee level, at an engineer level, at a designer level, at a whatever, below the executive level. I'm very happy for those people because they spent more than a decade of their lives on this game. And we talked about this at launch. It must have been so heartbreaking to know that this game was going out into the world unfinished and uneven.
Yeah.
And so for them, I'm glad for them that they're finally getting these reviews of their work.
Yeah, 100%. So, are any of you playing the new DLC? We would love to know your thoughts on it. How do you feel about it being an additional paid DLC of $30 as opposed to a free DLC, which a lot of games do? It would not be like unheard of to do free DLC, pretty common, especially in a game that needed it. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Are you like, fuck yeah, I've been playing the game. It owned, it slapped. It was totally worth it. I finished all of the content. It feels like buying another game now. Is there enough in the DLC for you to feel like buying another $30 game?
And a lot of people are saying like, I started a new playthrough and I'm having more fun with it than the first run. A few people are saying, hey, I liked it from go, which is great. And then CDega28 says the game's systems have been fixed, but the lack of true punkness is still there.
That's hard. That was honestly, that was like the thing. I got in and I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be a cool thing. And it was like the big turnoffs for me as a genderqueer communist was the lack of genderqueerness in communism.
Yeah. And and what we mean is like, of course, the city and the society itself is not communist.
No, but that's why you're a punk.
Yeah, that's the oppressive part.
You're not in a communist society. Otherwise, that wouldn't be counterculture. Yeah. We know that the cyberpunk future in this was hypercapitalism, and there's all the corpos and stuff like that. And that's why it would be fun to play the like anarchist,
I chose a corpo, you remember, because
crazy to me.
No, I love choosing a corpo because that I was like, I want to see what makes this character.
Yeah.
How I can make this character either subvert this system from the inside or what turns this character into a punk.
Yeah.
And it turns out no matter which kind of starting you choose, you get like the same, you get the same montage and the same opening story. And I was just like, okay, so this is a buff to my skill tree. Okay.
I chose the most like gutter punk sounding class and all the same.
All the same.
All the same.
So happy Cyberpunk to everybody who celebrates.
Okay, now you can talk about Platinum.
I gotta talk about Platinum games.
I know.
This is a huge, this is the end of an era. Hideki Kamiya is leaving Platinum Games.
Yeah.
What? Hideki Kamiya, of course, the founder of Platinum Games, comes from Capcom, comes from Clover. Just a classic designer in the industry. This is the guy who created Devil May Cry. This is the guy who created the Wonderful 101 and
director of Resident Evil 2,
Bayonetta, like all of these amazing things.
Yeah.
Starting Platinum was huge. Platinum, of course, made the best Metal Gear Solid game.
Those listening in podcast form later, Anthony is flipping off the cameras.
That's right,
That's
baby.
What that pause is.
Kamiya also known, of course, for just blocking people on social media.
Great. I love that. Hey, same.
A big early block mute champion.
Same.
But he announced, he said, like, hey, I'm leaving Platinum Games on October 12th, 2023. This came after a lot of consideration based on my own beliefs and was by no means an easy decision to make. However, I feel this outcome is for the best. I will continue to create in my Hideki Kamiya way. I hope you'll keep your eyes peeled.
Very curious.
Now, Kamiya founded Platinum in 2006.
All right.
So been there for almost 20 years, only 52 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but this comes after the news about Shinji Mikami leaving his studio. These are the original gods of 3D games.
Yeah.
And I wonder what's going to happen to Platinum now.
Yeah.
Because Platinum has been in not so great a state for a while. Platinum is one of those studios where in order to stay alive, they have to do that one for us, one for them thing.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, we get to make a Bayonetta, and then because we made a Bayonetta, we have to develop this horrible game as a service for Square.
Right.
And then when it fails, we've got to take the fall.
Yeah.
You think about a lot of the things that they were working on that have been canceled. Scalebound, which was supposed to be a huge, huge thing for the Xbox One, which they folded some of that into Bayonetta 3. Working on Soul Cresta, all of this stuff where it's like their big, big stuff really never worked out for them.
Yeah.
They're known as like the gods of making action games, like games with tight combat, character action games. And that's not a genre that is dominant anymore.
No.
It is a genre that's for a large number of people.
But it isn't a genre that's attracting a lot of new people to it. It is a genre that is beloved by a community of people that are super excited when this game comes out, that's fueled by a lot of like nostalgia and like niche preference, and it's not appealing to mass market.
Yeah, I mean, there are some new people that are into it, mostly through, games like a Devil May Cry 5 and stuff like that, where there are people who like tight action, combo-based play.
Yeah.
And it will always be a genre that's there, but it's just not a big money AAA genre. And it's what they're best at.
Yeah. It's so interesting to see so many
Best
foundational
Transformers game.
It's so interesting to see so many foundational creators that are going independent, quote unquote, in this. And there was something very interesting actually in the Xbox leaks, in like the Microsoft emails, where Phil Spencer was talking about
I saw the AAAs.
about how like AAA studios are kind of in it right now in a weird spot because the place of a publisher has changed so much with the ability to independently publish. And this is happening in like every industry, and we've watched it happen in film and television and people's ability to create independently in like every single genre.
I always call it the middle going out. It's like everything. The middle class, the middle product, the middle everything is going out. We're losing the middle. And the middle is a really important place. A AAA publisher, developer, studio, any of those people can't work on something small and can't necessarily work on something new in a big way.
Right.
Because the cost is so huge. Making a big budget Hollywood movie, making a big budget video game, you don't want to bet that money. You don't want to bet hundreds of millions of dollars on something that hasn't been tested and proven.
Right.
It's easy to make, I mean, it's not easy, but it's easier to make an Assassin's Creed every year than it is to make something new that might fail.
Guaranteed money, guaranteed fan base, and the marketing process is much easier when you know the game. Like not just like, oh, because fans know the game, it is such an easier process internally than to try and figure out how to explain something new.
We've explained this, we've explained Assassin's Creed. Every year we know what the main beat points are. All we have to do is reinforce those and say what's new. That's it. Figure out what the new thing is. And then as one of these studios, there's a large culture of this throughout the world, but particularly in Japan, of these sort of like partner studios, second party studios and shadow studios that are like, most Capcom games are not made internally by Capcom.
Yes.
Or at least weren't for a very long time. They are made by various shadow studios. You think of like any Zelda games that aren't a mainline Zelda game, well, those are usually made by Grezzo, you know, or you think of like any of these things that they're just shadow developed.
Yeah.
And Platinum had a very good place, and a lot of these developers in Japan had very good places as we develop our own games and we develop games for big publishers.
Yeah.
And in exchange for developing these games for big publishers, they let us make the ones that we want, and they give us less friction when we want to release
One for us,
those.
one for them.
One for us, one for them. And that's just, it doesn't work that way as much anymore. And it's a bummer to see Platinum come to an end. Even if you aren't a fan of this kind of genre, it's a bummer to see Platinum come to an end, because I'd like to think that there is a place for refined, experienced talent, which usually that kind of talent costs money. Let's say this is highly paid talent that know what they're doing and are masters of a craft.
Right.
And I would like to think that there is a place for people like that in the industry, as opposed to just being a small indie dev that's making your own stuff and scraping by, or being a gigantic studio and working in the corporate machine.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's less and less of a place for those people, and there's less and less of a place for just variety at the big scale level in games. Now, digital and indie, we're seeing more creativity than ever. But honest, you know, on the equivalent of a store shelf, or like a digital store shelf in a featured position, man, the era when these guys became big, you're talking about PS2 era, PS2, PS3. You could put the weirdest stuff on the shelf of a real of a retailer.
Absolutely.
Just weird ass games.
Do you not think that maybe though the like these very established developers leaving some of these larger corporations to do their own thing, is that not a lot of them attempting to redefine that middle class, that equivalent of a middle class in games?
I hope so, and I hope that they can do it.
That's kind of what makes me hopeful for it. I think that it's kind of cool.
We're looking at, but the other thing that we're looking at is so many of these people leave, start their own thing, and then they, you look at like Igarashi with Bloodstained, or God, you look at like Mighty Number 9. Some of these things where it's like they go off to do their own thing, and they find that like there isn't the money, there isn't the time,
right?
And they don't know what to do without the support of a large studio.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing.
Yeah,
and these are guys that have been trying to figure out how to make their own way since they left Capcom. The Clover was supposed to be like our own little shielded place out of Capcom where we can do whatever we want, and then Capcom was like, nah, we don't like what you do.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, those are the Capcom games now that get remade the most, that sell the most, your stuff like Okami and stuff like that. And then they all went off and started their own thing, and it's like, I don't know, they've just never had the success that they had.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, maybe it's a bummer, maybe it's fine. I don't know, but it's definitely the end of an era.
It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. A moment ago we were talking about the many flaws of Cyberpunk. I do want to kind of head back in that direction a little bit, not of Cyberpunk, but of some of the beautiful flaws of Starfield.
Beautiful flaws.
We say / pause on this. We love these fun bugs.
It's some of my favorite stuff about Bethesda games. And we've talked about some of the stuff that people have been finding.
But this is a fun one.
We talked about how people
Bless you.
Just people who are in static positions, standing still in Starfield, just kind of slide off into space.
Funny.
Swimming through the air. All the good Bethesda jank that you see in a Bethesda game. And one of my favorite ones that we talked about was the little asteroid that follows the ship
loved
around.
it.
It's this adorable little asteroid.
So cute. It's a little pet.
It's a little pet that somebody was like, ever since I fast traveled, there's just this asteroid that follows my ship. Little pet rock in space. And once they started talking about that, other people were like, oh yeah, I have a pet too.
Yeah.
And they started comparing them on Reddit. One of them was an entire forest that was just following somebody around.
Alex, if you want to show it, it's on Anthony's screen.
There's just an entire forest started following somebody around. So there's the ship, and then there's the person. That's just their own little meditation space.
Their
own
little
quiet,
yeah,
just a quiet space to take a little me time.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
it's very good. The forest just follows them everywhere. Very adorable.
There's also somebody who's being followed by an entire city.
Whoops. Okay. Yep, that's the big one.
Yep.
New Atlantis. New Atlantis is following this person around. The whole ding-dang city of New Atlantis.
The whole city's just coming around with your ship. You leave, city leaves. Where you go, I go. I'm the city. You're a ship.
What does that do? I wonder what that does to performance when you're in like a dog
When it's
fight.
constantly loading an entire city following you around.
Yeah.
God, that's funny.
Now it looks like it's loading the far away version of the city.
It
but
is.
But it's still like, wow, look at that.
I love it.
It's nice because like no matter where you have to go for work, your commute home isn't bad.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah. Your commute home is right behind you.
Yeah. All the time.
Just over your shoulder.
It's right behind me, isn't it?
Yeah, your entire city.
What?
Yeah, the whole city is. Yeah.
I love these. Listen, have I still not gone into the Starfield?
Yes.
I have not.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it. Today I'm going into the Starfield.
Today?
We're gonna get done here. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna start it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stream it maybe. And I don't know, but we'll go into the Starfield. It's time because I have to play hot young Pinocchio in the terrible city.
Yeah. You do.
You gotta.
I can't wait to
You
play
gotta
that
play
as a
pretty little Pinocchio lost in the city.
disturbing.
It is.
It's so disturbing.
I didn't make it.
I hate it.
I didn't make the game.
I hate that. Anthony, I know that during quarantine, you got really into the concept of tiny home living.
Not just the quarantine, but yes, hardcore in the quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about it. I'm still like, whenever if I have friends that own homes, I'm always looking at the size of their yard. And I'm always just like, if they have like a huge yard, I'm always like, I wonder if I should just ask them if I can build a tiny home in their yard.
What a sketchy dude you are.
What a sketchy dude I am. But listen,
What a weird guy.
I'm a weird little guy, but listen, they get a little money. I get a cheap home.
Yeah.
I'll put up a fence. I don't want to look at them. They don't want to look at me. That's fine. Just give me a little fenced in area of your backyard. I don't need much. I just need a bed to lie on and a place for my sweet prince.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And all of my gadgets and toys and gizmos and it's
Gadgets and gizmos aplenty.
it's who's it's and what's it's galore.
Yeah.
I dream of the tiny house, but Saige, I can't fit in a tiny house.
No, you absolutely don't.
I feel like I'm constantly throwing things away.
And yet you still have so much stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
How?
Mostly Kickstarters, honestly.
I haven't done a Kickstarter in years.
I know, but you have so much still.
I know.
That's not the thing. It's not that you're doing it right now.
No, I know.
It was a phase.
It was a phase. I just want to help people with their dreams.
Yeah, buddy.
And I want to get cool presents by surprise in the mail.
Yeah.
And that works out great. I'm gonna help you with your dreams.
It's good for the economy.
I'm gonna help you with your dreams. You're gonna help me get little presents.
Yeah.
Wow, what a wonderful thing.
Mutually beneficial.
But
Now,
yes, the tiny house is a thing that I enjoy,
so
that I
since
love.
you're going to be getting into Starfield, what about tiny ship? People are making the tiniest ships they can in Starfield.
Oh, I love that.
How small can they get it while having everything that they need on it?
I love that.
These are from the Starfield subreddit as well, and it's a bunch of people just comparing their itty bitty little ships.
I love it. That makes sense to me. I like that. I
My
like that
Barbie Jeep.
Oh, that's cool. I like it for two reasons. Number one, because I hate building modes.
Yeah.
And so the quicker I can get out of a building mode, the better. I know that's antithetical to the way 90% of all gamers think right now.
Love to build.
Wake up gamers, rise and grind, build something. Let's build fam. Is that what they mean when they say let's build fam?
Nope.
Okay. And also, like, I just love the idea of what's the most efficient way to complete this system.
Right.
What do I need, and what's the most efficient way to do it? So yeah, I like that. And if I can't have my tiny house, let me have my tiny house in space.
You have a tiny little ship.
Because here's the other thing about the tiny house, Sage.
Yeah.
I can't imagine owning a large place. I like living in small places. That's the
Yeah.
other thing.
I want enough space. I'm not a tiny house person for
No,
sure.
you're not.
No, that would make me uncomfortable. I'm a maximalist, so like it would be a lot. I like having space for sure. But too big makes me super uncomfortable.
I just feel like people want these large homes and then they just want to fill them with things.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah, I'm not a
then
fan
what?
of that. I don't enjoy that. I definitely only want enough space for me and no extra, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a person who likes to have a 2-bedroom apartment for myself.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a little extra. That's a little more than, like, I technically need. But to have at my workspace as someone who streams, and, like, if I didn't stream, I'd probably do a 1-bedroom. But I do, and it's very nice to have a stream space that isn't my bedroom.
Yeah. No, I
But
want
that's it.
Yeah,
I want to have a workspace, a space to store my gear.
Yes, I want a workspace, I want a non-workspace.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
The only reason I even want a little yard is because I have a dog.
Right.
If I didn't have a dog, I wouldn't want a little yard.
I enjoy having a yard because when I don't touch grass, I get very depressed.
Yeah.
So it's nice
I do like to live near a park,
It's nice to have grass,
which is not easy to do in LA.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why people do yards.
Yeah. I'm always team. My dream, my truly and honestly like end game dream, not just my don't have the money to do a house, so this is my temporary dream. I want to live in a little like duplex or triplex with people that I know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now-
I want a shared yard. I want a shared outdoor space.
Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. You buy a space that has a big house on it.
Yeah.
Dilapidated house.
Yeah.
Knock down that house.
Okay.
Have
Why didn't you just buy land then?
buy this because it's hard to find land in LA.
Okay.
Anywhere near where you would want to live.
Yeah.
Knock down the old rickety house.
Okay.
Buy it with 5 friends.
Yeah.
Everybody build tiny house with
Yeah.
courtyard.
So
Village.
Bria and I have extensively talked about those Home Depot prefab houses.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, the like $50,000 prefab houses. Fucking stellar. Very, very cool.
You can get even smaller, like little smaller ones for cheaper.
I don't want smaller and cheaper.
But I
I want
that's
that
the thing,
$50,000 Home Depot prefab
Is
house.
everybody
Yeah.
can buy whatever size they want. And then you live
Yes.
4 or 5 people, large plot of land.
I love that. I love that. And hey, it's not a cult because everybody
It's not a
isn't
cult.
having sex with one person.
It's not a cult. But it is the same person. But everybody is having sex with the one person.
No, not in ours.
No.
That's what makes it
That's
not
what
a
it's
cult.
not a cult.
Yeah.
Okay. What about indoctrination to our beliefs?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Like a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
I think we're coming in aligned. Yeah. That's it. You just gotta like hate the system, hate the government, be anti-money,
Yeah.
and be a little gay. That's all.
That's good. A month ago, I sent Saige a video that she's afraid to watch because it's about people who started a commune and started their own village in upstate New York and what the process was and exactly they go through everything that you need to do.
I'm hanging on by a thread, Anthony.
And
I
Saige was
can't.
like, if I watch that, it's over.
It's over. I'm out. I'm hanging on by a thread. Have you been getting, there is a TikTok account from a group of friends that bought a big house together that like some of them do have little separate ones. Some of them all live in the main house
Are you
together.
talking about FaZe Clan? You're talking about
I'm
FaZe
not
Clan.
talking about a content house.
You're
no.
talking about FaZe Clan and all the cool gaming they do.
No, I think G Fuel bought that one.
G Fuel.
But this is just like a random group of like millennial friends, and they just like talk about what their responsibilities are. And this person's like, I do finances, and this other person is like, I'm handy, so like I help with a lot of the repairs on the house. And this other person is like, I do the groceries, and I take everyone's order to make sure that we have food. And this person
I'm
cooks.
good at picking movies to watch on someone else's Netflix account.
Yeah,
You need that.
yeah.
You need that.
That's your contribution.
That's
to the
what I
commune.
contribute.
I've been
I
getting
nearly lived in a co-op,
Oh,
like a co-op commune kind of house in Brooklyn.
oh,
Yeah.
What stopped you?
There's this very famous house on 7th Avenue in Park Slope. That's like, I don't know if they're still there, but it was like this giant manor that was like 8 or 9 bedrooms.
wow.
And was the cheapest place to live because it was like rent controlled from a million years ago. And the way it worked was like there was a chore chart, there was a communal grocery list, there was all this stuff, and the rent was really cheap. It was very, very hard to get in there. And I remember I went around and I was interviewing with the people and I met everybody. And at the time, it was a little not what I wanted because at the time I was like, I was like early 20s. I wanted to be like, live on my own, do my own life.
Yeah.
Live my wild, I'm living on my own adult dreams. If I went to that place now, I'd be like, oh my God, thank God I only have to keep up with like 1 or 2 things a week.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What a dream.
It's not always, I don't have to shop every week.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah. I would absolutely do it now.
I would 100% do it now. I dream of community. What?
Huh?
Ooh, tell us about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the only way to buy anything. What, are you going to buy it yourself? Good luck. Good luck. That's amazing, though.
Alex, they couldn't hear you. There was no mic there. And can you show them you as well? Yeah, can you get your camera?
Here's my fun fact.
Less disembodied voice.
Hello, there I am. So fun fact, 771% more millennials are buying homes with friends. Between 2014 and 2021, co-buyers with different last names rose over 700%.
You got to do it.
So I'm sure it's a combination of both less people getting married as well, because co-buyers with different last names. I mean, that could also be somebody just not taking a last name, but a lot of the time what they mean by that is non-married couples of any variety, and then friends buying property together. That's my dream. That's all I want. I want a triplex with like 2 other friends, a shared backyard, a little outdoor space, and something that is just like, hey, we can have individual lives that look out for each other and form a community. That is all I want in this world. It's all I want.
Yeah, same. It's weird because I think more and more people are thinking like that.
Yeah.
And because so many of us were not raised to think about that as an option, I think a lot of people sit and think that that's their own weird dream.
Yeah.
Hey, start talking more about owning capital with friends.
Yeah, it's really.
Owning capital with friends is not just the best, but increasingly one of the only ways to own capital.
A lot of people don't know that you can get a loan like that. Like, you absolutely can. There are its own hoops to jump through for sure, but that is absolutely a thing that can be done.
I'm not even kidding.
Are doing.
I'm not even kidding. Let's just say it right now. If you and Abria and like a couple other people, if we want to get together, I'm on board. I'm ready to go.
I'm in.
I'm ready to go. We should talk about this seriously.
Let's do it.
I'm in it. I'm in it.
All right. Well, we'll plan our commune.
I hate my apartment.
We'll plan our commune off the show. There's so much additional news in here, Anthony, but it is already 10:30.
Well, then you can all go stuff your sorries in a sack.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't get to, and that just means there will probably be left over for Wednesday on the next show.
Are we doing a Wednesday?
Oh, no, that's right. There's no Wednesday show.
There's no Wednesday show.
Okay, well then all that news goes to Farm Upstate.
Yeah. Don't worry, it'll be treated well, and it gets to run in the field with the other news, and it will be happy, and it's never going to die.
So there is no show on Wednesday because I am taking off and heading to Big Bad Con. If you're going to be at Big Bad Con, come say hello.
Stuff your sorries in a sack. If you were looking for a Wednesday show.
There will be no Wednesday or Friday show.
Yeah, stuff your sorries in a sack if you were looking for a Friday show.
Uncertain on Monday at this time. Depends on if I get back in time.
Yeah, stuff your sorries in a sack if you were looking for a Monday show.
But when we get back, of course, we will resume and we will be right back. Was there not a Patreon video last Friday? There was. Did it not go up?
There was.
I will double check to make sure that it posted, but I'm pretty sure it did.
It's great that we're ending the show because my laptop just started acting weird.
Oh, great. Mine's dying. Cool. So if it
stuff your
isn't
sorries
up
in a
for
sack,
some
everybody.
reason, then it'll go up now, I guess. Patreon failed our upload. That's odd. Well, hey, you got a Patreon clip coming.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we did. We talked about something.
We talked about stuff, and you're going to love it.
Yeah. Actually, I do remember. We talked about aquariums.
We talked about aquariums. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And though we will miss you on Wednesday and Friday, stuff your sorries in a sack. we appreciate you coming out today, and we appreciate all your support. We see everybody that's tweeting when we go live. That's so huge. We see everybody that's sharing the show with friends. That is so huge. People who are sharing clips and links. That's the biggest thing. We're a little show, and we do everything out of a tiny little studio.
Yeah.
And in a tiny little plot of land that we don't own.
Yeah.
And
we don't even own it.
We don't even own anything. And so we appreciate y'all spreading the word, because that is the biggest help to us. And also it brings more like-minded BBs here to just kind of hang out and spend time with us. And we like that too.
We love it. Thank you to everybody who has done that already. Join the Discord to be in the place where all the like-minded BBs do gather. That's free to do. Anthony, I forgot to tell people where else you might be.
Oh, well, you can find me everywhere online at Carboni, except for here on Twitch where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. Maybe doing some Starfield today, finally. How about you, Saige?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, so I will be live tonight at 6 o'clock. I might be considering the Cozy Trash game that I started on Saturday. I had a lot of fun with it.
You're cozy trash.
Yes, I am.
Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Alder_Mancy on Twitter, but I'm also going to be doing 2 panels at Big Bad Con.
Whoa!
So if you're there, come find me, come say hi.
That's right. Go find the It's Too Early team at Big Bad Con. Except for me. I'm not going. Stuff your sorries in a sack.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, everybody. We love you, and we will see you very soon.